welcome back to our corner of Maine. Today is a big day in the kitchen for me. As Ben mentioned, we have tomatoes coming out our ears. We have already processed 13.5 quarts of tomato sauce a couple weeks ago, and today I think I'm gonna be even doing more than that. I have this whole tote full. Thankfully Ben washed those for me last night, so I don't have to do that this morning. And then I have to just sanitize my jars to get started. We have this wonderful de-seeder that I am borrowing from my stepmother. It works like a charm. And we have a whole table out in the front room full of tomatoes that are yet to ripen. And so this is round 2 of what I think will probably be 3 rounds of tomato processing. And we're just very thankful that our garden did so well and that we have so many tomatoes to preserve for the winter. And there's just a lot of pride in knowing exactly where your food has come from and that you have made it with your own hands. And so it not only saves money, but it just makes us feel very thankful that we have this coming out of our garden. So come along for a little bit of the process, not necessarily a how-to, but just see a little look inside the process of how I can our tomatoes. Due to the editing, you guys are getting a very condensed version of what I'm doing today, when in fact I am still cutting tomatoes, and it's been about an hour and a half now. Yes, it's a lot of work, but Ben and I find a lot of value in it, and I find a lot of pride from this, and I feel like it's one of the largest ways that I contribute financially to our home is the cost-saving measures. But also, as I'm cutting this morning and just doing this, I think about our ancestors who did this out of necessity, who did this with a lot less resources. They didn't have the modern day conveniences that I'm using right now, like switching on that propane stove or running it all through a de-seeder or sanitizing their jars through a dishwasher. And I realize I actually have it incredibly easy. So I feel honored to be able to do this. It makes me think of my ancestors, and just the nostalgia runs deep that way. And so, yes, it's a lot of work, but there's also a lot of pride in it, and I'm just really thankful that I have the opportunity to do this for my family. It has been several hours, and I have now finished all of the saucing, and I have cleaned my kitchen. When you have a white kitchen, it's very obvious when there's tomato juice everywhere. And I'm actually thankful because it makes the cleanup easier because you can see it, but I had a lot of scrubbing I had to do. Anyways, I have finished saucing, but I'm gonna be cooking them down tomorrow and canning them tomorrow, kind of splitting up the process that way, because I just had way too much to do all in one day. And so I'll finish that off tomorrow, but for now, Weston and I are gonna go join Ben in the tractor.
So right now we are pushing up the corn pile. It's usually something my dad does, but every night we take turns giving him a supper break. So tonight's my night. What's going on is the chopper is chopping the corn and putting it into trucks, just like you've seen when we were chopping haylage. And then the trucks bring it back to the barnyard and dump it here in the barnyard. And I'm here in the big tracker with a blade on front, pushing it up into a pile and riding on it to get all the oxygen out so it can ferment and be a more stable product as it and last us the whole year.
And I have memories last year of doing this with Wes. He was just a wee little thing.
Yeah, we had him in the car seat on the floor.
Yeah, his car seat was at our feet, and I'd sit here and nurse him as we went back and forth, and it just like rocked him to sleep.
Yep.
This year,
he's all over the
wants
place.
all the buttons and knobs and gears, which can be dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit harder to wrangle him, but it's a good way to spend some family time.
Absolutely.
Good morning. It is day 2 of processing these tomatoes. Yesterday I got the sauce down to this point. I stored them outside for the evening, but I just got Wes down for a nap and it's time to simmer these down, get these spiced. Later today I'll be putting them in our cans. I sanitized them yesterday and they're sitting here. I will sanitize our lids directly before using them. And I just have to get everything spiced. I just called my stepmother for a little bit of advice on the portions for the spices for the amount of sauce that I have. A huge thank you to her for helping me through this whole entire process. She has been a wealth of knowledge for me. This is my first year truly canning sauce. I've made sauce before, but doing it on this level is very new to me, so I want to make sure I'm doing it right. She has given me a lot of advice, but she's also lent me her huge stock pot. That de-seeder that I was using yesterday is hers, which is a lifesaver. So since it's my first year, I still need to accumulate my gear, figure out what I need, and so I'm just very thankful that they have let me use their things and also lent me their knowledge. So it's time to get these spiced, and then they're gonna simmer for about 4 hours. Traditional Italian spaghetti sauce, and I will have in the description box below the portions of the recipe that I use so you can make it as well. It's pretty simplistic, and I honestly changed the recipe up a little bit to taste. I'll taste it when it's getting toward the end of its simmer session, and I'll adjust it as needed. We have left the house. I have left my canning behind for a little bit of time. I ended up with 27 quarts from that last batch, which is a lot of work, but we're very thankful for it. And we have made our way to Bradley, Maine today to the Maine Forest and Logging Museum, Leonard's Mills, and it is their Living History Day today. So we're here as a family to see what life was like several years ago. We are back to my sister's house now. We had a wonderful time at Leonard's Mills. She and I grew up going there every single fall and learning from the reenactors and seeing what life was like back in the olden days. And now it's especially fun that we get to bring our boys there and give them that experience, and we just enjoy it every single time. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. We hope you come back next week. We post every Thursday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you then. Hello, welcome back to our corner of Maine. Acre. This is a Italian spaghetti sauce. What is it? Ah!
Tomato sauce. Ready?
No.
Alright.
My eyes are closed. Ben, this is not funny. Oh my word. Oh, I hate you. Oh, my heart hurts. I screamed. The baby's sleeping.
Kept your camera pretty stable though.
Where's the train? Aren't you hitting things, okay? Pocket full of